It's not Battletoads. So I didn't know that the video game guys were supposed to show off their code, so I don't have that. Nothing nearly as cool as what Escher showed today. But I'm going to talk about Hover Havoc, which is a game that I'm like 20 hours into, very early. I wasn't sure how many people we would have showing today, so I put together a presentation just in case we needed some filler. So this is not much to show you. So what is it? It's basically, I'm inspired by the sort of visual look of The Last Night. Have any of you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
It's canceled, so it'll never happen.
Seriously?
So, yeah, so maybe I'll be the one that gets to put that visual style into the world. Really quick, for those of you who haven't seen this.
Oh, man.
This is a, what they've done is they've taken like pixel graphics, flat 2D graphics in a 3D world with these awesome volumetric lightings.
Oh my goodness.
It's gorgeous.
How is this canceled?
I don't know. But this is just a style that really strikes me. Plus, it's got this sort of dark, futuristic, cyberpunk vibe. So I really want to do something that looks just like this.
I've seen this before.
Anyway, showing off other people's work. But, so that sort of visual style, I want the cooperative, side-scrolling arcade style combat action of games like Double Dragon or Battletoads or
Simpsons.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
That was a great arcade game.
Yeah. And also for gameplay, I want it to be like, I don't know if you guys know Dungeon Defenders, but it's tower defense mixed with like action RPG. There's a build phase where you put your towers, and then on the fight phase, your towers are taking out enemies, but at the same time, you're actually playing as a character who's fighting the enemies as well, defending your core on both levels. So these three things are kind of the inspirations for Hover Havoc. How it fits together, well, it's like Dungeon Defenders. It'll be a couch co-op or maybe online. I mean, if I have $1 million to make an online game. You and your friends play as hoverboarding mercenaries. You protect vehicle convoys. That'll be like your core as they race through a futuristic mega city. So that's kind of the cyberpunk first night vibe that we have. So you're on your hoverboards, you have maybe like a hovering limo that you're defending, and then these, you know, cyber gangsters are coming in from either sides to try and attack the limo or something. So yeah, tower defense plus ARPG. There's 4 classes with unique abilities and weapons and towers. Towers being what you put down to defend the limo. Like I said, there's a build phase where you set up the towers, and then there's the fight phase where you take out the enemies. The maps are 2.5D, which what I mean by that is we have like side-scrolling in a 3D environment with like 2D pixel sprites for characters and stuff. So it'll look kind of like this. This is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. But yeah, I mean, you know, these kind of games I loved when I was a kid. So that's kind of, I'm trying to recreate that feeling. This idea came from, I actually made a game called Hover Havoc like 5 years ago. It's, I'll turn the light down. I'm really kind of proud of it because it was one of the first ones I made by myself, and I made all the graphics, I made the music, I did the programming. Complete, nothing there is unoriginal. So it was kind of like my first real game that I made. It's pretty basic. It's procedurally generated platforming levels where you collect coins and avoid running into these bad guys. I I was kind of thinking that, maybe I'd release it as a mobile game,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Subway Surfers or Jetpack Joyride. But there's like millions of those out there. But some things that I really liked about it were the hoverboards. I love hoverboards. It's got that sort of dark future vibe to it.
Now you have to put a pug.
And that sort of pixel 80s design aesthetic. So I've thought about like recreating this in Unity because that's the engine that I use these days, but I've never really been motivated to do that. And then a couple of months ago, I drew a dude with a robot arm, and I thought he would look sweet on a hoverboard. So then I was thinking about that game that I made 5 years ago, and I thought, oh, maybe I could make this be the new main character when I recreate this game. As I said, I named him Chase as an homage to Case from Neuromancer. I don't know if you guys have read Neuromancer. Yeah. And so I quickly started designing what Chase could do in this side-scrolling tower defense game. He had a couple of primary abilities that his character could do, and then he had 3 towers. And then I made that same kind of character sheet for 3 more classes, so I had 4 total designed in my head. And again, that's sort of where the Dungeon Defenders inspiration comes from. They have a fantasy setting, but they also have those 4 main classes. Then I obviously just started writing code for it. Like I said, it's very early in development, but I do have a video of what it looks like right now. I've got an enemy, which is placeholder graphic. It looks like a frog. It won't be a frog. It can shoot at the closest target, and targets right now may include the player or any towers that are in the map that are within the range that it has. And then there's a player who can move, shoot, and place a basic wall tower, which blocks movement. And right now the enemy moves towards a placeholder core, which is like a rotating cube. So this is all I've got so far. So this bad guy's shooting at me, I'm the fox. And then I put a wall down, and that's closer, so now he shoots at the wall. That's the core that he's moved toward, that green thing. So yeah, there's a placing mechanic. You hold the place button, it's red, and then you release it, it turns blue, and it stays there. There's some shooting and jumping, and right now, I don't know if this will be how it will be in the end, but I'm working in just this 4-lane structure where you can move smoothly left to right, but then you can jump between 4 lanes, and those are
I think a cool like flipping hoverboard animation between the 2 would be awesome.
Oh yeah, like do like a kick flip between the lanes or something. Yeah, because I wanted to block movement. Like they're 2D sprites, and so they're like their collision is kind of weird to think about. So just locking them into strict Z movement, or strict X movement, but then like having these 4 different options for where their Z could be, and also the towers they can be granular, X-wise, but locked into where they are Z-wise.
Have you considered, sorry.
Go ahead.
Have you considered like a melee combat aspect to it?
Yeah, so this guy, Chase, is, right now he shoots, but he's supposed to be a purely melee guy. That's his big robot arm.
Right.
So his main attack is punches. So he'll have, like Brawlhalla, he'll be like one of the guys with the boxing gloves, and he'll do like 2D double dragon punching and stuff.
When you brought that up with the whole double dragon and hoverboards, the only thing my head locked on was melee combat on a frictionless surface.
Yeah.
So if you're on a hoverboard and you, I don't know, punch somebody and they're on some sort of hovering object, all the while you're going down this, dystopian cyberpunk highway, and you're bouncing people off of light poles and oncoming cars.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, because for me, growing up with those games, that was the fun part, is what sort of havoc can you wreak by picking up one guy,
breaking a dumpster
hurling
that
him
you
into,
throw him into or something. Absolutely. Yeah, so this guy is mainly melee. I think everybody will have like a melee attack, but this guy's main attack is just a big, powerful, combo with his robot arm.
Take it every time.
I was also thinking, like, for his shield, his animation would be he would like pick up his hoverboard and like deflect things with like the hovery part, and put it on his arm or something. I don't know, cool animations and stuff. No idea how to do any of that.
One of the things I was thinking is the shields take shots, and maybe over time too, they eventually get weaker and weaker, so the tent gets weaker, and they just eventually go away.
Yeah, so those walls will have a health bar to them. So like, as enemies approach a wall that's blocked movement, they'll attack it until they've destroyed it, and then they get past it and they get closer to the core. So you'll either have to, kill them before they've destroyed your towers, or you'll have to spend resources on, repairing your towers, or just let them get through, and hopefully you've got other towers that'll take care of them.
Can you bounce them or move them around?
So in the build phase, you can do that pretty freely. In the fight phase, it'll take quite a bit of time to build a tower, right? So the build phase is meant for doing that, like you can do that.
There's a way that you can hit the enemies of attack and force them to move to a different, send them sliding across the.
Yeah. There'll be some attacks that will displace enemies and have some sort of like concussive force to them.
Because you can get real fun with the like future tech is magic sort of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anything you want to do when it's this kind of
Is it in
super science fiction setting.
the sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic?
Exactly right. Yeah.
I think I'm trying to. I think lesson off from something else. Anyway.
So at this point, like I said, I've already just begun writing code for it. I don't really, I'm just going to keep chipping away at it until there's something that's actually playable. At the moment, it's just a few things that I've learned how to do. I'm not really doing it very seriously. Myself and my Al and Bob, that are also developers with me, we're working on some of our other more finished projects. So this is just something I'm doing on the side. But since it's so early in development, I'm still taking any kind of feedback or questions or comments about it. That's kind of why I showed it off, because I don't even know exactly what it'll be yet. So with that said, are there any questions or comments about it?
How difficult is it going to be? Is it going to be like Cuphead difficulty, or is it going to be like?
I mean, I'm guessing if I completely build my vision, there'll be different difficulty levels you could play at.
Okay.
Easy mode, middle, medium mode, and hard mode.
Yeah.
So hard mode will hopefully be really, really difficult.
And then is it going to have like a story or procedurally generated?
Yeah, there'll be a narrative to it. I think there'll be like 10 levels or I don't know, just an arbitrary number of levels that have a story that build on each other, with maybe some very basic storytelling between each one. But the game will mostly be around this gameplay. The story helps people move forward, but I would say the story is secondary to just shooting dudes on hoverboards.
No, I get it.
Not as much story as Battletoads or Double Dragon, where it's like a
Right.
5-second. Oh my God, he's back! We need to defeat him again.
Yeah, the big bad guy's
He's
back
back
in town. Take him out. Hours of gameplay from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly like that.
So when you're talking about like a rolling limo or thing that you're trying to protect, I'm probably weird. My brain went to Blast Core. Have you ever played that on the old N64?
I don't think I have. No.
it was it was actually from Rare, so like it was good.
Yeah.
Back when Rare was good.
Right.
No, but he had basically like a rolling missile truck, basically, that you had a construction company at various construction equipment. You had to clear the path in front of it.
Okay.
I remember that game.
That if it touched anything, like ran over unstable ground, anything hit it, anything just exploded, levels over. So
Dang.
you're protecting.
Unforgiving.
It was fairly unforgiving, and it just sort of rolled through, and you had to hope you could clear stuff out of the way.
Well, I mean, that'll be kind of the feel of it. I think the core, I mean, it'll be traditional in that the core will have a health bar. Like, one hit won't take it out. So, because there'll be, like, lots and lots of enemies. And so some will get through. That's just kind of the nature of it. It's supposed to feel pretty frantic. You know, like, it's supposed to feel like you can't pause for anything, you know? Just constant, you know, defensive action.
I mean, obviously a boat level, right? I mean, there's got to be, right?
Oh,
Like,
sure,
there's
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
be,
I mean,
air, land, and sea, right? I mean, I even figure like a plane landing
Yeah.
and then taxiing, and you have to defend
Sure.
it from the moment it lands until it gets to the airport, or, you know, like I'm just trying to think of all the
Yeah, no,
possible,
that's good.
you know.
yeah, so there will be variety. It won't always just be a limo through the city. I mean, yeah, I'll have
You
Yeah,
also
right.
do like
Oh,
a slower
why just
level?
from the moment it lands? Like while it's flying around, then it lands, and
Well,
then
they're hoverboards. I don't know how much, you know.
Oh, we can't do a sea one because hoverboards don't work on water.
Why not?
Unless you have
These
power.
do.
Why
These
not?
do.
It's because Back to the Future, man. Don't you know? It's the whole thing. They don't work on water.
See, it's wireless power, so it's fine as long as
Wireless
you're close
power.
enough to the hover limo.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
If you get
it.
too far away, then you fall
You just have like a little cord that's like,
Oh my goodness, a cord.
not wireless, corded power.
in.
You gotta
Retro
use
future.
virtual scissors.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
San
for sure. I
Francisco
love
I
that.
was gonna say you could have a
with a line above.
it's actual trip through the internet, so all of a sudden all your little sprites turn into like N64 quality graphics to
Oh,
make it
yeah.
look like
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could do like a virtual one where like
Yeah.
you're defending like a terabyte of data as it's being transferred from like
Oh
you
yeah.
know one corporation to another or something.
characters.
Oh.
just
Or like a
that
super-
That gets to
sense.
your neuromancer core. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Or
yeah.
like a super
Exactly
slow
right.
level
that feels really
with
Tron-y.
like onslaughts and onslaughts, of enemies, but it's an armored like tank basically, and the tank itself helps defend.
Oh yeah, I love all these ideas. Like I said, I mean it's nothing yet, so it could
Yeah.
be anything.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about TCP/IP, and what it does is it puts stuff over a network, and then if you have people taking links over the network, then the transfer rate of that file going over the network becomes more difficult, and you can blast the links out so that you ruin this piece of data and it needs to be retransmitted from the server back to the client, whatever.
I mean, you can do some crazy stuff.
Every piece of the limo gets knocked off. You have like a packet loss meter.
Yeah, that's good, man. Maybe I need to reframe this. Maybe go full neuromancer with this.
No, I want to have a sea level.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll do one.
I mean,
C
this way
level.
you can have a C++ level.
That's
I'm
awesome.
done.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
yep, you guys win.
Anything else?
Go from the C level to the C++.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like whenever the waves splash, like pluses go everywhere.
Thanks, guys.